Hello and welcome back to Raw Sport with your head of sport, Will Kingswood. Now, as the new Premier League season is just around the corner, it's always worth looking back to last season for some idea of what could happen. As none of us can really pay attention anymore, I'll try and do this as quickly as possible. So, here we go. Starting with Manchester City. Close to losing the league with only a 12-point margin last season, so I would say a £250 million spent over the summer seems perfectly justified. Next we have Manchester United, whose slow start really cost them this season, but they did win the Led the League in January award, so I guess that is something to build on. In third we had Liverpool, whose title race never really got going after Virgil van Dijk's injury, as every Liverpool fan consistently reminded us over the next 7 months. In fourth we had Chelsea, who lost to West Brom 5-2, lost to Arsenal 1-0, but then won the Champions League. I mean, it really makes sense, doesn't it? In fifth we had Leicester, who had a good performance, didn't quite get Champions League but won the FA Cup. In sixth were West Ham, an outstanding performance this season, and Jesse Lingard returned to doing what he was born to do. Terrorising Arsenal. Next we had Tottenham, whose title chances looked promising before disappearing completely, something Harry Kane appeared to emulate following the Euros. In 8th were Arsenal, with more ups and downs than the Smiler, coincidentally something every other fan did while watching the weekly AFTV meltdown. In 9th were Leeds, who did a bit of cultural appropriation from Nottingham by robbing from the rich and giving to the poor throughout this season. In 10th were Everton, consistently average once the month stopped beginning with O. In 11th were Aston Villa, high point was a 7-2 win, low point was anything other than Grealish and Martinez. Newcastle amazingly finished 12th in the greatest miracle seen since Jesus came back from the dead. I've got no idea how they did that. In 13th was Wolves, they were there. In 14th, Crystal Palace, they were also there. In 15th was Southampton, top of the league at one point, now suffering PTSD every time the number 9 is mentioned. 16th was Brighton, XG was their friend this season, scoring actual goals wasn't. 17th was Burnley, I swear if you put them in red and white, you'd think Tony Pulis was their manager. 18th was Fulham, always seemed to have a shot at safety, but they missed it, like most of their other shots this season. 19th was West Brom, arguably Sam Allardyce's worst ever year. Gets relegated, then watches his England replacement get to the final of the Euros. And finally we had Sheffield United. It really could not be more ironic that their interim manager was called Heckingbottom, as that was where they were for all of last season. And that was last year's Premier League season reviewed as quickly as possible.